If you've ever looked for a group house in DC, you know it's easier to get a top secret security clearance than it is to get into a good group house. And I had been looking for a group house for several months. I was living in a studio. I was really lonely. And finally, my 9th interview, they wanted me, I wanted them, the stars aligned, and I moved into this group house in Columbia Heights with 2 men and 2 other women. And at first, everything was idyllic. We sang songs and played guitar together. We hosted joint parties together. We even went on a house camping trip and all returned still speaking to each other. So, needless to say, I was thrilled. You know, it was a big improvement on my lonely studio existence. Now, if you've lived in a group house, you also know that there are several rules to group house living, right? Number 1, clean up after yourself. Number 2, pay your bills on time. And number 3, the cardinal rule of group house living, do not get romantically involved with your housemates. Now, fortunately, I was safe because 2 of my housemates were women, and one of the men, Levi, was gay, and the 3rd man, Tom, well, we had nothing in common. You know, Tom was very thoughtful, kind of stoic guy, whereas I'm much more emotive and emotional. And Tom really liked Game of Thrones. I'm more like New Girl, Modern Family, you know. And Tom loved card games, board games, Settlers of Catan. I don't have anything like the level of concentration for that. So I was safe, right? But as the months went by, I began to admire certain things about Tom. He could get our internet to work, which was a big deal in the house. And he was willing to pick up dead mice and other gross things around the house. But the thing that we really bonded over was a shared understanding of an expiration date. So we would have these group cleanings of our 2 house fridges. And we would all gather around the fridge, and my housemate Levi would pull out half a jar of something from the last century and examine it. And he'd say, "Okay, guys, I think we should donate this to the food bank." And then Jessica would take it, and she'd say, "It's been opened, so I don't think we can donate it, but we should, I think we'll use it." And then Mara would take it, and she'd say, "I'm not sure we'll use it, but we should at least empty it out and recycle the jar." And I would be unable to believe any of these options was on the table. No, people cannot eat this. No, we cannot eat this. No, do not open the jar. And Tom at least had my back. You know, he'd assess, yeah, guys, I think we should let that one go. So, needless to say, I was smitten. Now, one day, Levi's dad was in town, and we decided to take him out. We took him to Wonderland Ballroom, which, if you don't know, right, it's a dive bar in Columbia Heights where everybody takes their parents. So we were out in the outdoor patio, and the drinks were flowing, and we were having a great time. And it got later, and it got colder, and Levi's dad went home, and we decided to go inside. And there was a band playing upstairs, so Tom and I decided to go upstairs and check it out. And my memory gets pretty hazy here, but I remember we went up, and I remember we got drinks, and I remember we were dancing. And then I have the impression of a memory, but it's really strong, of kissing Tom. And where my memory picks up again, I'm lying on a stretcher, and there's a fluorescent light above me, and Tom is there, and he's trying to talk me into accepting a tetanus shot, which I seem to be objecting to. And I say, "Tom, what happened?" And he says, "Erin, you fell down the stairs at Wonderland Ballroom." And I say, "No, I didn't." And he said, "Yes, you did. You got a concussion. We've had this conversation a few times." And so I take stock. And, there's, my face really hurts. And there's an IV in my arm, and I look down at my leg, and I realize my leg is one giant bruise, and I decide he might be telling the truth, and I realize God has literally struck me down for breaking the cardinal rule of group house living. So, I spend the next week in this drugged-out haze just trying to remember what could have happened, because I know I kissed Tom, and I know I fell down the stairs, and it seems like the 2 events must be related. So I'm trying to picture what could have happened, you know. Were we kissing on the stairs? That was really stupid. Or maybe it went badly and I was running down the stairs. I have no idea. And so finally I work up the courage and I ask Tom what happened. And he says, you know, well, yes, we went upstairs, we were dancing, we made out a little bit, and then we decided to go downstairs and find our other friends, and you were walking down in front of me, and you tripped, and it looked like you were going to fall backwards, and instead you fell forwards. And so I say to him, Tom, you know, I'm not going to go around making out with you in bars because clearly it's really dangerous. But if you wanted to ask me out, you know I'd say yes. And he was a thoughtful guy, right? So I put that out there, and I waited. And a week went by. And 2 weeks went by. And 3 weeks went by. And he never said anything. So we continued on as platonic housemates and co-police of the refrigerator for 6 months until our landlord ended our lease to renovate the house. And then Tom moved off to his own studio apartment. But the rest of the housemates and I moved into a new group house together where I live very happily with all of them and where I follow all of the rules of group house living. Thank you.